Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to round number 2 of the Wiz Motorsport Track Titan GT Tour. This evening, Paul Ricard. Oh yes, that one in France. Phenomenal circuit for overtaking. We're going to see some serious action here this evening, especially after what we saw in round number 1. So close to the race win, was Darren King. That's gone on to the wrong window. I do apologise. And there we go. That should be on that one there. So there we go. Yes, as I say, Darren King. So close to the race win. On the last lap, made contact with the back marker. Sees him finishing second, giving Jan Willem van Ommen the maximum number of points from round number 1. Alex Zakda led home a charge of the Ferraris to come home in third, with Evan Cairns in 4th place. Gianluca De Luca finished in 5th, bringing home a pair of Aston Martins, this time with Coleman Corkery in 6th. Then a trio of Ferraris inside the top 10 with Jonathan Thel, Giuseppe Moschella and Nigel O'Brien. 7th, 8th and 9th for the Ferraris. Then it's a pair of Porsches, followed by a pair of Mercedes and a trio of Ferraris. The cars, safe to say, hanging about in packs. Alex Milchin rounding out the top 10 in the standings with a 10th place in round number 1. 72 points his reward. Jake Rose, Gunther Deportier, Craig Townsend all scoring points as well. In fact, points all the way down to 21st for Lawrence Tiethoff. And Jason Lingard there in the Lamborghini, that's the one I wanted to mention. He'll be finishing much further up the grid as the season goes on, I am sure. There is quali just starting, perfect timing. And in the silvers, I'm not sure why that's done that. There we go. In the silvers, it was Artem Kudasov in the Audi that took the top spot, a whole 105 points, all to himself. Ostap Pavlik in second. It was Jas Tuschek bringing home a pair of BMWs. So as I say, the cars really are hanging about in packs. 2 BMWs on the silver podium. Anthony Appleyard in 4th, Kieran McGuckin in 5th place. Anthony Ferrand finished... Oh, that's a bit loud. Ferrand in 6th place, Mellon in 7th. It was Vinima in 8th place, Ian Paskin in 9th, and Gavin Taylor making it into the top 10 last week in the McLaren. Not many McLarens out on display. Good to see one inside the top 10. Also scoring points last week in the silvers, Trevor Minton and Teru Jacob, 11th and 12th respectively. So we'll see how they go on in this week's race. The drivers are out on track. Raf in the chat with a sub. 3 months. As it should be, I suppose. You are the boss, it seems only right. It's almost covering the track map a bit, but there we go. The drivers, as you can see, out on track. Just to confirm, it is 23 that we've got out for this one, I believe. Yes, it is. That's straight. Oh yes, Paul Ricard. I can't really pronounce the name of the straight. Of course, the Lindroy de Mistral, the Corps des Signes. You see them coming out. And I do love how the pros manage to get so close to one another in qualifying. Certainly would be. We're only 3 minutes into qualifying, so we've not seen any flying laps set as yet, but that will change very soon as we see a couple of cars making their way towards the start-finish line. Oh no, that's Clearman still finishing his first out lap now. So yeah, definitely a long lap here. And we'll see who's going to bring it home first. Where is last week's race winner? There he is there. And the Aston Martin, Jan Willem van Ommen. He was in second for 90% of the race and then gifted that race win. So yeah, we'll jump on board with Van Orman. This is, of course, the Mistral Straight. You can pick up a coffee and a cheeseburger when you're making the way along. So long is the straight. We're going to have one of those next, aren't we? There we go, back where we should be. Yes, we're coming off the Mistral Straight into Signes. Amazing how wide the driver's on. This little double right-hander here, I really can't get my head around this corner at all. I'm sure the drivers will tonight, but yeah, I really struggle around here in a Ferrari. No problems for Van Orman. Driving the Aston Martin. Good mix of cars, well, I'd say a good mix of cars. We've got Ferraris, BMWs, we've got the MK 154.4. That is a good time from Ferrari. See what one Van Orman's got. Final corner. Again, one of those corner complexes that really does catch me out. I struggle to make the way through there. Again, no problems for Van Orman. Crosses on height 153.49 ahead of the rest of the field as he comes into turn number 1. We'll stay on board with him, see what he does for this lap. You can see that just enough undulation there to really keep you on your toes on the brakes and the accelerator as you come through turns 1 and 2. Slight kink to the left for a medium braking zone. Good use of the steering wheel, right then left, little dab of the accelerator, little dab of the brakes. Really get as much of that inside curve as you can, opening out on the exit. Trick here, getting your foot down as early as possible and keeping it there, hoping you've got the grip to snake your way through the right, then the left, and on again to the Mistral Straight where we joined Van Orman. As I say, we're still on board with him, 53.4 he's set at the moment, and that is looking to be a very good time. Jonathan Fell looking to improve on his time, but only see him up one position if he brings this one home. Eamon Tully, Fabio Gallimini, all good times. Coleman Corkery as well, down in 15th place at the moment, hasn't got a time set. He did invalidate his first attempt at a flying lap, so we're getting some deltas through, and it was... Oh no, it's Glaren then. Sorry, Glaren Cairns, Powercell, Pavlik, Biles, Tully, Gallimini, Wilson, Taylor and McGuckin. Oh, Corkery, he's dropped a couple of positions due to more time being set, but he will set a decent time by the look of it. Matt Lee, Nigel O'Brien and Jake Rose still to set times. Another lap on board then with Van Orman. Fully in control of the car, and he is going to go quicker again. So Cairns improved on his time, but so has Van Orman. And that's put him 8 tenths then ahead of the field, 53.2 at the moment. We'll see if anyone can catch him. Cairns leading the way at the moment. Jonathan Fell did get himself up into 3rd place. Coleman did set a time as well. He's inside the top 10 in the Wiz Aston Martin. 2.4 seconds off the pace at the minute. You would expect him to go a bit quicker. O'Brien has just been overtaken. Tully and Pavlik for the silvers looking very quick. Eamon Tully leading the way for the silver class at the minute then. Jake Rose crossing the line. He still needs to set a time, so too Matt Lee, Ferrand Cava and Kudasov. None of them getting a representative time set as yet. Van Orman is back out on track. We do love the Wiz Motorsport liveries as well. They do look definitely cool. And being a 45-year-old dad, I'm not sure I'm qualified to make that statement. Let's face it. There is Van Orman along Mistral Straight again. This will be an outlap. Power is carrying a bit of time. He's just come off the Mistral Straight, and he really came off the Mistral Straight there. He just about held on to that one. So he is still going to carry this time. This could set him up for third place if he can bring this one home. Yes, Tuschak as well in 12th. Oh, he's just invalidated his lap. He was 4/10 up there. I would have seen him get a couple of positions at least. Big gap between the field then. Van Omen 8/10 ahead of Cairns. He's 2/10 ahead of Fell. Then 4/10 separating 4th and 5th. It really is one of these tracks. It is very easy to lose absolute bucket loads of time. And find yourself well off the pace. Power crosses the line. Still the 1.5 off. So he's going to look for more time still. Still 6 minutes to go. So they've definitely got time to get time set. Although Lee, Rose, Ferrand, Kava and Kudasov. Still no time set. Kudasov just exited the pits. So yeah, definitely they want to write that as soon as possible. Especially I would say Vittoria Cava and Jake Rose as well. The two pros are going to find themselves right down at the back of the grid. Alex Milchin in the pros. Currently sitting 12th overall, 8th in class. 10th behind Minton, 6/10 behind the nearest pro, so he really does need to pick up the pace on his next lap if he's going to improve in his stand-ins. Ferrand has got a time set. I can't see him seeing that as being fully representative. He's already 7/10 up through this corner. He does have an Audi, another Audi very close behind him. That is Kudasov. Himself and Kudasov. But in qualifying, it never ends well for someone, that is for sure. Oh, was that you, Kudasov? Yes, it is. The two of them using the slipstream expertly there. This might benefit them both, actually. Matt Lee still not got a time. He's coming along the straight. He has improved on the time that was invalidated, so he should get himself inside the top 15 if he can bring this one home. And we are full on racing in qualifying. Oh, and that was a Porsche going past, in fact. So that was a Wiz Porsche. Van Ommen's into the pits with 4 minutes to go. He's still got 8/10 of a gap back to Evan Cairns, who you can see come along in Mr. Straight again. Is he going to be able to find any time at all? 2/10 ahead of Thel still. Thel's threatening to go quicker than Sector 2, not quite able to bring it home at the moment. Yes, Tuschek looking to improve on his time as well. He's into Sector 3 with almost half a second in his pocket. This would see him taking 4 or 5 positions then, if he could bring this one in. Get him just inside the top 10, or it would have if Glarum then up in 4th, Tully Galamini 8th and 9th. Power in 6th, and Lee, there we go. I did say he was on for a decent time if he could bring it home. Matt Lee takes the lead in the silvers with a 154.377. Only 1.1 seconds off the pace and on the third row of the grid, and only just on the third row of the grid, 1/100th of a second behind Glarum then. So Lee hitting the ground running and qualifying this time around. Or perhaps not hitting the ground running. It took him 15 minutes to get his quality time set, but when he did, definitely worth the wait. Glaram's got another 4/10. He is flashing at someone else on a flying lap, so he does unfortunately kind of need to back out of this one. He doesn't have track position. Oops, and Logiska has backed out of that one. It should really have held his line. That is seconds. Yeah, so Glarum pulls off the track. No improvement there, still in third place. Van Orman's sitting at the end of this session then. He won't get out and across the line to set a time. Evan Cairns coming in to the final corner. He will get another run at this. And we'll get a good idea when he crosses the start-finish line. We'll see what the Delta does as he crosses. So yeah, pretty much on par with his best lap so far. I realise it's only across the start-finish line, but yeah, if you'd have got a better exit and a better run out of the last turn, it would have instantly showed up on the Deltas. At the moment, Paul Simon, the good boy of racing, 3 seconds off the pace, but he's found half a second on this lap. Could see him jump 4 positions. Just Tuschek is going to have to settle with 13th at best at the moment. Matt Lee's still out on track, looking to improve on his time, and at the moment he is actually looking to make an assault on the second row. He's only a 10th behind, so too though. Although Dean Powers needs to find 4/10 of a second, that's going to be a big ask in the final sector, given his sector times there so far. Nigel O'Brien, 3/10 he's got at the moment. So again, could be dabbling someplace up near 6th position if he can bring this one home. Best improvement on the board at the moment though is Gavin Taylor. 5.1 seconds off the pace. But at the moment he's got over a second in his pocket. It won't actually be enough to see him improve in position unless he can find a bit more in the final few corners. Not long left for him to go. Matt Lee's going to cross the line. He is going to improve, and he's gone second. I did wonder why he's in the silvers. I'm assuming he's in the pros. I do know MGL from other leagues, and yeah, very speedy quick. So not surprised to see him up near the front. I'm surprised to see him in the silvers. Almost identical time to Evan Cairns there. So he will lead the way in the silvers. No other silvers out on track. Oh, apart from, sorry, Trevor Minton still out on track, but his Delta is red at the moment, so I don't think we're going to see any improvement there. Power and Fell, both green in the Deltas. They're going to need to find a bit more though if they're going to upset the Lee and Cairns apple cart. They could get to within a second. Well, under a second. They're pretty much bang on a second at the moment. The Mistral Straight still being navigated in. Minton's still out there. Cava still has the ability to set a time. Kudasov hasn't set when it's Cava. Oh, having a whole lot of lateral movement there in the Ferrari. The tyres won't be enjoying that, that's for sure. Dean Power coming through the final sector now. So, I'll tell you what, yeah, that was looked a bit toasty warm on the back tyres there. Corkery's still out on track as well, but he's coming to the pits, so there's no green on his Deltas there. Power, he is going to improve. Is it going to be enough? No, it is not. So 1.2 seconds off the pace is Dean Power, but it is pole position for Jan Willem van Ommen then. As you can see in the qualifying, then we'll start with the silvers. Matt Lee comfortably taking that 9/10 of a second. He finds himself ahead of the rest of the silvers. It is Tully in second, Pavlik in third, Jastuschak in fourth. Minton is going to start in 5th position. Biles in 6th, Simon in 7th, Roguski in 8th, Gavin Taylor has got himself in 9th. Ferrant and Kudasov. Ferrant getting a time set, starting in 10th in silvers. Kudasov didn't get a time set, so he will start at the back of the field. In the pros, it was the Van Ommen show. 8/10 ahead of the rest of the field, taking pole position in the Aston Martin. Evan Cairns will start in 2nd for the pros, with Glarum in 3rd. Fell got 4th place. Power in 5th. O'Brien in 6th. And Corkery in 8th place. 9th is Gallimini, with Jake Rose starting in 10th for the pros. In 11th, it's going to be Alex Milchin. And Vittorio Cava, as I mentioned, no time set. So he will be starting down at the back of the field. That's a whole lot of cars to get through into turn number 1. Let's put this over here. So that's certainly Mr. Lee has been promoted to pro. Can't say I'm overly surprised by that decision, Raf. As I say, I've known him since he raced on console, and he was a bit quick then. Yeah, you can definitely beginner's luck. Indeed, that was worth a try. We will give him extra points for that one. Oh, Clark, thank goodness. Woo! Oh, you're here, finally. There we go. Now we can actually get the action started. How are we doing this evening? Welcome in, welcome in. With a follow as well. Phenomenal. That is how we make an entrance. That's how we make an entrance, by the way. And even better if I didn't need to reach over to the other screen because my eyes were so old and short. PHC Clark, let's go with that. I wasn't sure if that was faux Clark or PHC, but clearly it is PHC. I don't need a PhD to work out who's the favourite for this race. Yeah, Jan Willem van Ommen, no Dan King this evening to chase him around the track. And yeah, so that's going to make it an interesting one in the standings, especially after. Supporting Trevor Minton today. Ian Paskin can't make it. Got ya. Full formation lap. So we won't be missing much as we make our way around there. Let me take a moment to remind ourselves. Sponsored, of course, by Track Titan. Some phenomenal prizes up for grabs. 6, 3 and 1 month subscriptions to their top service. 1 mandatory pit stop for the drivers to take. We do have 2 30-minute races that, in the series as well. But yeah, mandatory pit stop for the drivers to take. There will be 1 drop round out of the round, and the calendar does follow, of course, the SRO eSports events. That lets the aliens get a bit of practice in for the upcoming events, and yes, lets us regular drivers join in with the big events as well. 60-minute races, as I mentioned, a couple of 30. There'll be dual 30-minute races for Bathurst and Spa, so make sure you get your calendars set for that. There's also a bonus of 2 points for the fastest lap set in the race. So points up for grabs right through. There is a big hello from Jason Carroll. How are you doing, Jason? Welcome in, saying hello to everyone. Let me just pop that up there. Easy to read. There we go. As well, hopefully. There we go. There's Trevor Minton. He's getting shouts in the chat. And then there's his cars there. Good luck to the rest of the Wiz boys. Jason Linger. Ah, right, okay. Can't race this evening as in London for test. Is this to test and see if you are actually an alien, Jason? Because if it is, I know a few other people that could be. I think we should get Matt Lee tested as well. There you go. There's nothing worse than looking for your glasses and realising they're not in Old Faithful on top of your head. Just in time though. We're going to see some green lights, and we're going to see an Aston Martin and a Lamborghini lead the way into turn 1, closely followed by a trio of Ferraris. Green lights, it's foot down and away they go into turn number 1. And it's a good start by Van Orman in the Aston Martin, but Matt Lee looking to get his nose in front. He's just about got his nose ahead in the brake zone. He's clipped that cone though, and it's unsettled the car in the Lamborghini. The Ferrari, Evan Cairns, has made his way through. There's a bit of contact there into turn number 1, but it's Evan Cairns up to second. Of course, that overtake hasn't changed his position in the pros. Lee is in the silvers, but right round the outside is Glaren looking to have a look there with Jonathan Fell getting himself involved there. To Dean Power, keep in touch with the group ahead. In fact, that Coleman Corkery, no it wasn't, it was Eamon Tully just losing a bit of ground there in the background. It's going to be side by side between the two Wiz Motorsports car, O'Brien and Corkery, and they've got Jake Rose watching this one as well. Gavin Taylor down in the back of the field. Vittorio Cava hasn't made any running since the start of the race, and finds himself further down the order. Oh, and he's heading off track at turn number 1. So the undulation at turn number 1 has seen Cava then, the pro, set the time. In fact, I think Ferrand and McGuckin both involved in contact. And we see a bit of contact between some of the silvers, with Simon Biles getting involved with Pavlik Roguski, almost coming a cropper in the Mercedes as well in the opening stages, not in the Mistral Straight. Almost gone. Oh, and there is contact, and the Mercedes put absolutely the wrong way. How he managed to save that though, beyond me. And in fact, was that Minton? No, it wasn't Minton, it was the other BMW. Some serious action down in the midfield though. Van Orman completely oblivious to all of this, 1.1 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. We've actually seen Evan Cairns drop back down to second, with Matt Lee back down to third, sorry, with Matt Lee retaking second position overall. And look how close they are as they come round the last corner. Van Orman leading the way, Cairns, Lee, Glaren. Then it is Jonathan Fell, Dean Power, Coleman, Corkery, followed by O'Brien, Rose and Tully. A solid showing for the Wiz Motorsport team, with Gallimini then in 11th. Trevor Minton clocks the fastest lap of race number 1 in 12th place overall. Third at the moment with Paul Simon, really close him down in the Mercedes, really getting wild out on those outside curves. Managed to hold on to that one though. Nicely done. Justuschek coming under in fact, he's applying the pressure to Roguski then. The Mercedes not looking as planted as you would expect, and the BMW behind doing a lot of running to close up then. And in fact, that is that Biles? It is, yeah, Stephen Biles just behind. So he's closed up there. Mielchen's taken his mandatory stop. That is an early one then. Van Orman, he's going to be finished this race early at this pace. He's already 2.4 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. And we see Matt Lee promoted to the pros thanks to his qualifying performance, and he's going to be bringing home the bacon. Meaning, of course, then, sorry, Eamon Tully is in fact leading the way for the silvers. Oh, Evan Cairns, look at the traffic he's bringing with him then. Glaren and Fell in the Ferraris, really keeping him on his toes there, and so too the rest of his teammates with Power, Coleman, Corkery, O'Brien, Rose and Tully, all still hanging right in there. They've got Gallimini just behind him. Trevor Minton then, who is second. He is second spot, Trevor Minton fans. There you go. He is now in second place due to Matt Lee's promotion to the pros. So it is Tully leading the way for the silvers. Gallimini that's separating the top two in that division. There is Simon though in this Mercedes. He is going to pop a beautiful move on Gallimini by the look of it. Let's just get this one from Ricard Minton. Oh no, sorry, that's the defending from Paul Simon. My apologies. That's Paul Simon. We're going to make. Oh, he's caught the curb on the way out. I don't know why the track keeps showing through the cars there, but on the exit to turn number, I did say turns 1 and 2, the undulation there really so easy to catch the driver out. have to be so precise on the accelerator and the breakthrough there. And Trevor Minton falling foul of those curves. And Paul Simon promoted to second in the silvers. Eamon Tully still hanging with his pro teammates just ahead of him. No one is hanging with Van Romming. We're 2 laps in, and he's 3.4 seconds ahead of the field already. Just an absolute different class. Matt Lee is the driver, 3.4 down, and all credit to him. He's carved out a 1.7 second gap over the chasing pack. That chasing pack being led by this beautiful trio of Ferraris. I'm an absolute heaven with this much Ferrari in the competition. It's phenomenal. Well, Kerr's really using all the track here. Graham taking more of a middle line at the moment. He's not quite in full defensive mode from Fell. He does look like he's paying more attention to Kerr's ahead than he needs to give to Fell behind. Fell got his hands full with power and Corkery. In fact, to jump on board with Corkery, you can see just how close this group really is as they come into the final 2 corners. Round the last corner. It is a good exit by Corkery, but it's a better exit by Power and Fell then as they increase the gap on the exit to turn number 1. Trevor Minton looks like he's on a bit of a charge back then. He is caught up to Kudasov just ahead of him. Kudos to Kudasov as well, by the way. He started in 22nd position and he's up into 13th. Oh, he had to take a void action there. I'm not sure if he was a bit quicker than Mercedes. It was slightly slow there at the turn number 1, but whatever it was, Kudasov falling foul. Goes over the tracks. He's going to have to slow right down there to have not got Kuya. Thank you very much for the subscription with the Prime. Right on cue, just as the bot mentioned that as well. So welcome in, Kuya. Thank you very much for the Prime subscription. Welcome to Wiz Motorsport, where there is whizzing and there is motorsporting, I can assure you. Yes, Chusak is one of the drivers getting involved in this action. He's got Biles and Roguski just ahead of him, and in fact not far ahead of them is Minton defending once again. Kudasov looking to come back up. Is he going to get around it the outside off the end of the Mistral straight? In fact, he's going to get there before then. He's actually getting a bit of a tow potentially from Simon there. Just ahead of him. Confirmation that Kudasov is ahead. Minton using a bit of the slim seat, looking for the inside line. He's going to lose the back end of the car, and he's managed to hold that one, but he has definitely lost a lot of momentum, as we can see. Oh, the Mercedes runs wide as well, so the Mercedes was looking on a worldly of a chance there to close in after Minton's mistake, and he has just lost ground and a position to sign Stephen Biles then, who's closing in on the battle and 2 ahead of them. What a battle it is between these two. Kudasov and Minton still going at it, and Simon had a bit of a wobble in that Mercedes, but that position that he's in has definitely been saved by the fact that the battle behind has been pretty full-blooded between the 5 drivers chasing him down. As you can see across the line, the gap between Minton and Kudasov. Okay, we've got some penalties coming in, and it is car number 13 has been given a stop-go 20-second penalty for causing a collision. Lap 1 punishments are, of course, all doubled, as they should be. So yeah, that will be what's happened there, Vittoria. It must have been a lap 1 incident, so the stewards have given him a stop-go 20-second penalty. He will probably fulfill his mandatory requirements while he's doing that. 51 minutes out of the tyres, so just about be doable. A lot of drivers are saying these days you're still going to get 40-45 minutes on a good stint. And with the track temperature the way it is at the moment, 28 degrees, they should be okay to manage that, I would say. There's Jake Rose chasing down his teammate O'Brien. You can hear the 2 brand new engines. Coming off the Mistral straight. Oh wow, the Ferrari really pushing his luck there. Oh, Brian, I think he almost caught himself out there. If we're being honest, that looks like a big sweep back onto the track. Almost took the nose of Rose clean off. Rose managed to avoid it, but you will feel surely that he's being held up. But at the moment, Roguski doing his best to get himself past Gaz Tuschek, at least hang on the back. He's been overtaken. Did have a beautiful opportunity to get some positions done, and in fact, he has got himself ahead of Trevor Minton then, so Trevor has dropped down a couple of places there. Right, whatever it was, it's happened a while back. It is still Van Ommen leading the way. And that's a big gap. 5 seconds he's got over the rest of the field already. Matt Lee again, head and shoulders, along with Van Ommen ahead of the field. Kieran's having to do a lot of defending still from Clare. Jonathan Fell still watching this one intently with Power, Corkery, O'Brien, Jake Rose and Eamon Tully. 5 strong for the Wiz Motorsport team. Then Fabio Gallinini, 11th place at the moment, as we can see. He is closing in. I'll certainly keep in touch with the drivers ahead. We'll see what he can do during the pit stops. The pit stop's going to be all important, it would seem, given how close some of these groups of cars are. Only one driver's come in and taken their mandatory requirement so far, and in fact, as I say that, Gavin Taylor has in fact come in to the pits and he's on his way out, so that's his mandatory requirements done. Mielchin is already through, so Gavin will come out behind Alex in the pros. The earliest stop so far, so we'll see how long his tyres last. The last few laps could be interesting for him. 296 hasn't been nerfed too much then. Not too much by the look of it. It certainly seems to be... is it competitive? Are we used to seeing Evan Cairns this far off the lead? Probably not. But yeah, Jan Willem Van Ommen. He's won the odd race here or there as Van Ommen, so he's a bit quick. He knows he's around the car. Excuse me. So it's no judgment at all on Cairns or the gang in the Ferraris. But yeah, certainly not where we're used to seeing Evan in these races. Biles all over the back of the Mercedes. Let's do what a car is virtual mirror stuck on, slapping. Oh, the Mercedes, he really threw that into turn number 1 then. That is not something you want to repeatedly be doing. As we've seen it so far, cars losing it on the exit. As we were watching Biles thinking he might be overtaking Simon, yes, Tuschak in the BMW could well have other ideas. Oh, and that's a good rotation there by Biles. Really didn't work out well there for Simon, and that is instantly a position loss. Beautiful manoeuvre in there by Biles to get himself ahead of Simon, and Simon then is going to come under the pressure that I thought he might. It's going to be from Jas Tuschak, although he's right in that slipstream then, so the three of them are going to follow one another intently. Double slipstream then for Jas Tuschak. He's got his choice of drivers to follow. Of course, at this point, he wants to be behind the Mercedes because that's the one that's got the most momentum. He's just used the slingshot to screen pass, and it is going to be a 3-wide situation as we come off the Mistral straight. The Mercedes and the Ferrari on the inside trying to get as much room as he can. Oh, has a bit of a wiggle. He's on the next dab of the brakes. He's going to lose momentum. He almost took a Mercedes in the rear quarter panel and managed to avoid contact, and yes, Tuschak as well, very wisely backing right out of that one. I think if we watch his braking foot, which you can't quite see in the BMW, but he really did have, I'm not sure why it shows the race leader in his rear view mirror. That's a strange one there. That wasn't the race leader, but you can see, oh, extra lift there, because the Ferrari on that outside curve, the Mercedes coming all the way over, and the BMW taking extra, avoiding an accident. Biles did hang in there on that double right-hander. The cameramans fell over, but they have all stayed on track, and it is Biles that has stayed ahead of Simon Jas Tuschak, now under pressure from Roguski. Again, not sure why they were showing Van Ommen's Aston Martin in the rear view mirror. There is no one near Van Ommen. In fact, the next car to him is Cava, who is almost a lap down. He will be a lap down as soon as he comes into the pits. He, of course, has served a penalty. Unbelievably close there. I mean, usually... yeah, we're definitely going to stick where the action is. The drivers up at the front are doing exactly what the pro drivers do. Lapping quickly, cleanly and consistently, meaning Van Ommen's in first place, Lee in second, Cairns in third, then with 1.6 back to Glaren with a 1.2 second gap back to Fell Power, now 1.8 seconds down there, half that gap back though. Coleman Corkery still looking to upset Apple Car inside the top 10. In fact, I was talking about 13th, 14th and 15th. We're still going to battle between 8th and 9th, as you can see. O'Brien and Rose, the two teammates with the Ferrari again, having a lot of fun on the exit for the Mr. Oh, double tap of the brake from the Porsche. Is he lining up a cut back then? Really tried to open that corner out. Did close it up a bit, not quite enough to make an impact through the end of that sector. Can he get it done? Oh, and that is going to be a slap on the wrist. That will be a track warning. Track limit warning from the in-game stewards. Too many of those. And you'll get yourself a drive-through penalty. Big question actually, what we should have done. We should have polled to see if we could guess how many drive-throughs we would see for track limit violations, because this track is definitely one where drivers really like to push the limits to extract every single thousandth of a second that they can. And yeah, they usually find themselves with a stop-go in the pits. Galamini, says Fabio Genio. Welcome in. Oh, thank you for the follow as well. I didn't get a ding-a-ling in my ear notification for that. But thank you for the follow, Galamini. There he is there in the Ferrari. Currently in 10th place with Eamon Tully just ahead of him. Leading the way in the Silvers. Kudasov. What a race he's on. Started at the back in the Silvers. And he now finds himself in second place ahead of Biles in third. Jusik in fourth. Roguski in fifth place. Simon sixth. It is Minton seventh. Pavlik in eighth. McGuckin in ninth. And then it is Taylor and Ferrand. Taylor, of course, has taken his mandatory pit stop. McGuckin coming in. Kieran in the Porsche comes in to take his mandatory pit stop. Let's jump back up and see what Coleman Corkery is up to. Phenomenal battle in between the Wiz Motorsport drivers. I almost fell over myself there. Corkery and Power having themselves a great battle. So too O'Brien and Rose. So the Porsches doing themselves a bit of running, trying to overturn the Ferraris and the Astons here. Who will get the win? Let's see what Van Orman. Between those two, I think it's safe to say. Well, actually, no, it's not, because after race number one, we saw the lead car lose it on the last lap. So, yeah, certainly anything is possible at the moment. It is possible that Van Orman's going to lap the entire field. He's 6 seconds ahead of the rest of the field, 9 laps in. Oh, Matt Lee. There's been a problem with Matt Lee then. Let's have a look at this. Very comfortably in second place. He is crossing the start-finish line. Oh, is this a turn 2 exit? Potentially. There's a post on the inside. Oh, and he unsettled the car. He really threw it over. That is no good on the tyres. Going backwards while the tyres were spinning forwards. And he is lost. That's Jonathan Fell going through then. So he tried to throw the car over back on the line as he was lapping that Porsche there of McGuckin, who didn't clear his mandatory requirements when he came into the pits. So Kieran McGuckin came into the pits and back out again. It hasn't taken off his mandatory requirement, which certainly what it's done. Matt Lee down in 5th position then. And that is a blue flag there. Sorry, held my breath ever so slightly. The Porsche given more than enough room eventually there. Dean Power and Coleman Corkery then. I'm sure they'll be buoyed by what they're seeing ahead. The gap now closing. This is given... Oh, what's happened there? That's Dean Power. So Dean Power then off the Mistral Straight. We're 45 minutes in and this race is absolutely coming to life once again. So it's Coleman Corkery that looked like he had a bit of an issue in the background. Oh, and the Porsche just let go completely. Yeah, I love the way at this track, yeah. You can all see that, can't you, when they go off track and the, for some reason the track lines, the off-track curbs show through. McGuckin finding himself involved in all kinds of overtaking action then. Again, I don't know why his pit... Wow, so close between the two Wiz Motorsports drivers once again. Ferrand is in the pits. Let's see if he can get rid of P2 just slid. No collision. Oh yeah, P2, yeah, we saw that, yeah. Matt Lee, there was definitely no collision. He moved over to go past the Porsche and went to go back on the line. I think he might have been braking. Oh, never mind this though. Let's have a look at him. Getting his way past Jonathan Fell then. He's already closed the gap back up to 4th position. He's going to go up the inside. Ooh, bit of contact there on the exit. Neither car shadowed around. Both will continue. Lee now back up to 4th position at the expense of Fell and Glaren. Having themselves a phenomenal battle up until this point. Glaren now 1.4 seconds down on Evan Cairns with 11 seconds now to Van Orman. And yeah, if he stays out for the full 40 minutes, he could get himself a free pit stop and never have to overtake anyone for the rest of the race. Matt Lee then, let's just get confirmation of how much time he has to make up. Although while we wait on that, let's see what Jastuschek and the gang are saying in the background. Roguski, that is, and in fact, is that Kutuzov? It is Kutuzov. Oh, so coming onto the Mistral straight then, Kutuzov had a bit of a mistake and he's really lost himself a few positions there. There's PHC Clark just giving us some directions. Are they coordinates? Are you okay? Have you fell on your keyboard? The Audi's tyres really not amused. And Kutuzov, wow, that explains that one then. The back of the car completely letting go on him then. He did manage to control it, obviously eased off. Oh, but again, just a simple turn to the right in the back of the car. Completely stepping out on him then. Oh, the Audi really not keen on behaving for Kutuzov. Started at the back, made his way up to 2nd place in the silvers, and he's just tumbled back down the silver order then. This puts him 4th position. Jastuschek on the podium with Biles just ahead of him, and in fact we're going to see Jastuschek, I think, try and make a move off the Mistral straight side by side. They are. The BMW is going to have the momentum. He's moving right over to the right hand side. I'd be moving left as soon as possible. Is he going to be able to make this one stick? I think he has given himself too tight a line. The Ferrari's going to have much more momentum and less centrifugal force. Contact was inevitable. Oh, and the Audi in the background's tapped on his brakes to avoid the contact. He's had a wiggle, and in the background, Roguski's almost taken an Audi into the front of his Mercedes. Jake Rose, the first driver to fall foul of the in-game stewards. That is a drive-through for violating the track limits too often. Less than halfway in the race, we've seen number 1. I think that number could grow exponentially before we get to the end. There is Rose coming in to take that mandatory, to take that drive-through penalty then. And there is Roguski in the background, we can see pulling into the pits as well. His fellow Mercedes driver, Paul Simon, is going to follow him past. Roguski and Rose in the pits. Roguski for his mandatory, of course. Roguski in the silver, so we're really looking to see where Gavin Taylor is, although Kutuzov and Biles looking like this battle could be interesting once we get onto the Mistral straight. If Kutuzov can keep this close. Definitely seen that Audi struggle a bit. Oh, that is Kieran McGuckin there, just blue flagging, letting some more cars through. Oh, the Audi again, struggling for grip. If I was Kutuzov, I would be in getting those tyres changed. There's absolutely nothing to be gained by losing this much time this early in the race. Get in, get those boots fixed. and get yourself back out on track. As you can see, he was so close coming through the first sector, and he is going to close the gap then. Is it going to be too little, too late though? Given the length of the straight, probably not actually. Side by side. Yep, pretty sure we all saw that one coming. Kudasov again. Prediction time. He's either coming into the pits at the end of this lap, or he's going to be in the wall before the end of the next lap. Because those tyres really are not happy at all. Matt Lee comes into the pits. He's going to lose a couple of positions in, which he'll regain. He really needs to gather his composure and get that drive from second place back on. Late turn into the box. And that is Lee, of course, O'Brien and Power both making their way through. Eamon Tully still leading the silvers in. 9th overall he is. Galamini 9th in the pros. Then it's just Juszczyk and Biles. And Kudasov has stayed out. So yeah, hopefully my prediction doesn't come true, but I really don't see how he's going to manage many more laps, given the way that Audi is doing everything he doesn't want it. Oh, and that was a late send there. And that is most of the track completely ignored. And that's going to be a slap on the knuckles from the in-game stewards for violating the track limits as well. So he might not end up in the wall, he might actually end up in the pits for a drive-through. We will see. R10, Kudasov, the gift that keeps on giving. Let's see where he is come the end of this lap. With 33 minutes left then, Van Orman is starting to lap some traffic, unsurprisingly. He has stayed out then, 13 laps in. He's happy to continue with the pace that he is showing. Why not? Only on that last lap, only 9/10 off the fastest lap of the race, which he, of course, has set. Cairns and Glareham. Again, two Ferraris on podium positions. It's Cairns and Glareham leading the charge to chase down Van Orman. Fell in 4th place. But that is where I believe Matt Lee will slot back in once the pit stops have all been taken. He's got a big gap over Mielchin, so Mielchin potentially on the verge of a top 10. Does need to get himself some clear air. He has got a lot of clear road ahead of him. But again, it just depends where drivers start coming out of the pits. Van Orman's on the Mistral straight. Cairns still trying to get there. He is keeping Glareham at bay just now. Fell still at arm's length to Coleman Corkery and Nigel O'Brien. Still 5th and 6th. Power still chasing O'Brien. They're not as close as they have been. There is Rose in to take his pit stop. And Pavlik comes in as well in the BMW, so more of the silver drivers coming in. And at the moment, it is the majority of silver drivers that have come in to get the mandatories done so far. And the pros looking for late pit stops. Glareham keeping it within a second of Cairns. Van Orman, my 1-year-old was typing for me. I don't apologise, that might have been the most intelligent thing you've said in the chat so far. Would you like to let the little one type again? Sorry. Sorry, that was too easy. I apologise. We've just seen someone else come in the pits, didn't we? Pavlik, he's on his way out of the pits, so too is Jake Rose. Hopefully everyone's got a sense of humour. I don't get too much of a telling off for that one. Around the last corner, that is, yes, it's Power and O'Brien that we've got on screen. Glareham's found the 10th. On Cairns, so definitely hanging in there still. Roguski trying to close in on Taylor, battle for silver points there. Dean Power. So it's your fault. We will be sure to let him know. Yeah, the only thing I do quicker than talk is throw people under the bus. You're welcome. Arik Roguski, another CBR driver. The Mercedes looking very quick. The McLaren of Taylor looking firmly outgunned along the Mistral Straight, although he's maybe popped out the slipstream a bit too early because the McLaren has managed to stretch his legs come the end. Is the Mercedes going to get enough turn? And did look for a tighter entrance there and exit. Is he going to throw one up the inside? It's going to be a brave move if he does. The McLaren takes the middle line, successfully navigates the corner. Just about holding on to position. Oh, and the Mercedes gets a really good phase 2 in that corner. Having another look much later on the brakes. He's going to be on the outside line here, but on the inside of the next corner, the Mercedes gets his nose just in front, and that's beautiful driving by these two. Zero contact through 5 corners, and it is the Mercedes of Roguski. Retakes a position, and that was an overtake for position and points. These two have been in to the pits. And talking of points, position overtakes, Glairum and Cairns very close to one another once again. 3/10 through that final sector. Dean Power and Nigel O'Brien getting very close as well through sector number 3. Still none of, in fact, the only top 10 driver, sorry, to have come in and taken his pit so far, Matt Lee. Was in second, came into pits from 4th place. Unsurprising that he came into pits when he did, given 28-degree track temperature. That was a lot of sideways and backwards motion while the tyres were spinning forward. So definitely wouldn't have done their grip or life cycle any good. There's Carver coming in. That's his second trip into pits, of course. He did have a stop-go 22nd penalty to serve in the opening exchange. Oh, Kudasov side by side once again on the Audi, just running a bit deep in the braking zone. Simon hanging on. Oh, and that Audi, Kudasov must have arms of steel. The way he's hanging on to that Audi. That thing is determined to kill him before the end of this race. The tyres absolutely squealing, surely. In fact, you don't get to see his tyre pressures on the dash. That is unfortunate. I'd love to see what his tyres are saying it, because they're not happy in the slightest. He could easily have been up a couple of positions. Again, my advice would be to get into the pits, but then I commentate and don't race, so what would I know? Here comes Dean Power. Still these two for Wiz Motorsports. Has Power been held up this whole race? I mean, if he has, it's been a polite display. Brian still doing the defending though in the Ferrari. I'm going to assume that one of them will come into the pits. And if they do, who's going to be the first in? My money would be on Power. But they both stay out. Indeed, Clark, yeah, very nice racing by the two of them. Kudasov again, getting back to within half a second. There's Trevor Minton. Just in the background there. Gallimini coming in to the pits. Eamon Tully will make his way past so too. Yes, Jusek, Biles and Simon. Unless we see more drivers coming in. 26 minutes left to go. Gallimini, and there's Kudasov finally coming into the pits. Yeah, his tyres will be thanking him, that is for sure. That was quite the stint and a whole lot of sideways action that he was getting himself involved in there. Gallimini already on his way out, and there is Kudasov on his way out. There is the race leader still then, Jan Willem van Ommen, 17 laps in, 16.2 seconds to the good. So some serious lap times he's putting in, and he's going to go for another lap. What's the pit window? There is no pit window for this. The drivers can pit absolutely any point in the race that they see fit. We did see... yeah, no, that's definitely junk. I believe it was Alex Milchin came in at the end of lap 1. So yeah, so we will see drivers pit at the end of lap 1. No pit window. Ian Paskin in the chat. How we doing, Ian? Good to see you in the chat. But yeah, no pit window. So it's all down to tyre life. I'm here working away watching. Okay. Enjoying the race so far, I hope. Yaz Tuschek comes into the pits. Van Omen just getting himself a cheeky bit of slipstream there from Kieran McGuckin. Yaz Tuschek coming into the pits. He's in the second half of the pit boxes. Good having to work tonight. If I was a betting man, I'd say there was a touch of sarcasm in there. That'll joke. Who, me? Condescending and patronising? No. There we go. Oh, Dean Power and O'Brien. Let's see what's going on there. Oh, they're side by side. Is this the lap that Power gets the job done? Not quite. Oh, the Ferrari using all the track on the exit and then some there. But he is going to hold on to that position for another lap. Power definitely is chasing him. Has he been held up in these opening exchanges? He does have a slightly quicker lap than O'Brien at the moment. The two of them have been nose to tail for the opening 19 laps so far, and it doesn't look like they've given up any time soon. Van Omen certainly is, and that's Kudasov just ahead of him, 16th position. Kudasov has come back out of the pits. That is the race leader. It's still Eamon Tully leading the way, but Biles in second and Simon in third for the Silvers. Those three and Minton all still to take their pit stops. Again, nice bit of slipstream there for Van Omen. You see blue flag his way past there. Evan Cairns gifted second position after a self-shadow realming by Matt Lee from second place. He's just catching up to one of his team's cars, so a bit of slipstream there for him as well. Biles and Simon come into the pits. So too Trevor Minton. So that's Minton and Lee. Yeah, he's of course made his way through. Galamini will as well. Alex Nielsen's in the pros. Kudasov in the silvers. So yeah, Eamon Tully's still out on track. Biles is leaving the pits. He is going to be behind Kudasov though, so Kudasov getting the undercut done there. Matt Lee definitely out. And where did Kudasov go? There's Biles exiting the pits and Kudasov. So that position is going to change there for him. And there's Glarum coming into the pits then from third place. So too Jonathan Fell. He's coming in from fourth. Coleman Corkery promoted. So yeah, let's see what happens here with Matt Lee. Is he going to get himself ahead of Fell and Glarum? He was ahead of Fell before he came into the pits. Is he going to be able to maintain that? He's well into sector 3 as we can see. And here he is into the final corner. Glarum and Fell both. Wow. Wow, they're both miles out of the pits, and Glairum absolutely getting the job done then. Matt Lee only just into turn number 1. So he really has lost a lot of time on his outlaps then. Massive amount of time. He was between Glairum and Thel, and he is now comfortably behind them. Certainly comfortable for them. We'll get full confirmation on the times. Oh, and here we go then off the Mistral Straight once again. Going side by side is Power and O'Brien. Oh, and they've got a teammate just ahead of them who's that's not Coleman Corcoran. No, it's not. Oh, but the Ferrari's hanging on to this one again. O'Brien doing some worldly defending there, some phenomenal action between these two. Unbelievably respectful between the two of them. As O'Brien is hanging on to the position at the moment. Power again is going to set a quicker lap than O'Brien. We cannot get that overtake done. Neither of them into the pits either. Only 19 minutes left to go. He really is applying the pressure into turn number 1. This is going to be another side-by-side between these two. Turn 1 and 2 is a fun place to try and do this, but the Porsche is absolutely in there. The Ferrari's going to have to a bit of contact on the corner exit, and then the Porsche and the Ferrari both making it through. O'Brien and Power, neither of them losing control of the car despite that little contact. This Kieran McGuckin just getting himself out of the way, but finally, after 21 laps of following, is Dean Power has got himself ahead of teammate Nigel O'Brien. Ironically, I bet he comes in at the end of this lap to take his pit stop. We'll see if that is the case. Yaz Tushek and Kudasov then. Battle for podium honours in the silvers. Still Eamon Tully leading the way, but second and third. Oh! Yes, that did actually happen. Do not adjust your sets. That was a massive burst of netcode lag, which I saw one of the drivers ejected from the server. And it is Yaz Tusiak. His BMW appeared to make massive contact with Kudasov, then submerge under the track and disappear off into the distance. So hopefully he's not gone Super Mario World and using the warp. I don't know what he's using to get himself to the end of the race, but whatever happened there, I doubt that contact actually happened. Yaz Tusiak was disconnected from the server. He has rejoined. He's going to have to sit there for 2 minutes as well and wait. But that is unfortunate. It was a great race between those two. So again, that contact, we can't be sure that actually happened, given that one of the cars involved in the contact then disappeared under the track and straight out of the server. He has rejoined to finish his race, but that is massively detrimental to Yaz Tusiak. 19 minutes in, disconnected from a podium in class. And then, to rub a bit of salt into the wound, he's got to sit there for 2 minutes as an in-game punishment. Oh, Jake Rose! Into turn number 1, really got that Porsche rotated well there through turns 1 and 2. Oh, lost the back end on exit. The Mercedes trying to avoid contact as well. Then we've got a BMW Pavluik in the background looking at involved. Pavluik backs right out of this one. The Mercedes still hunting for the position. The BMW closing right back in there despite backing right out of the... Oh, and that was a big send there from the Mercedes. Certainly at first view that's what that looked like. No judgment from the commentary team. We'll let the stewards figure that one out, but it certainly looked like a bit of a send there. Jake Rose coming a cropper then, the pro driver, 18th overall at the moment with only 6 cars. Still to take their pit stop. Yaz Tusiak still a prisoner in the pits. Van Ommen still avoiding the pits, 23 laps in. Only 15 minutes left to go. He's more than happy with his tyre performance, that is for sure. Evan Cairns, the driver, in second place. He's got Biles in 13th, just ahead of him. There's Gallimini just letting it go ever so slightly on that final corner curb, and doesn't want to do that too often towards the end of the race. Coleman Corkery Currently in third on track, but I do feel that when he takes that pit stop, Glaren and Fell will retake their third and fourth positions. Corkery and Power and O'Brien, sorry. 5 seconds for car 778, so Roguski's been given a 5-second penalty then for that contact. And in fact, that might even increase. But yeah, I was surmising in the opening stages Dean Power potentially being held up by Nigel O'Brien. Now that Power has got the overtake done on O'Brien, he's 1.4 seconds to the good. Kieran McGuckin coming in to take his mandatory pit stop. That is his second trip into the pits. I'm not sure what went wrong with his first trip, but he has come back in to hopefully right that wrong. And he's unfortunately done something incorrectly again. Because that mandatory marker has not cleared for him. Hopefully McGuckin's recording his race. He could just race to the end, and if he could show the race stewards footage of him successfully making a pit stop, he should be okay to just get that cleared. But yeah, 2 trips into the pit stationary both times by the look of it. Certainly from the telemetry I'm seeing here, his car came to a stop. But that marker has not been removed, so he will have a penalty added at the end. We'll see what happens there. Evan Cairns comes in to the pits from second place. That's Biles, Gallimini and Roguski. No, it's not Roguski. It's Paul Simon, my apologies, making his way through. Coleman Corkery rounding the last corner. He stays out. Power staying out as well. There's Trevor Minton. Sam was between the two pro drivers. He's taking his pit stop. He's currently 7th in class. 7th in class at the moment. Cairns, there we go. He's got a green light next to his name, so he's done that properly. Thankfully for him. Eamon Tully then, still leading the way for the Silvers. 12 minutes left to go. Great drive so far by Eamon. Not long left to bring this one home. Cairns coming back out of the pits. Oh wow, and look how close he is to Glaren then. So those two were separated by about a second actually, if I remember correctly, before they came into the pits. There wasn't much separating them, in fact. It was up to 1.6 seconds and then got back down to about 7/10. Only half a second separating them now. We did notice that Matt Lee was 10 seconds down on Fell a few laps ago. He's gained 3 seconds since exiting the pits. So definitely got pace on Fell at the moment. We've already seen him go past him once. Can he get another overtake done? And Glaren on the used rubber certainly seems to have the advantage over Cairns just now. Cairns still on outlap tyres. You need to get those things up to temperature, which, as everyone knows, can take a couple of laps. 29 degrees is the track temperature. Oh, and there is the second drive-through for track limits. And it is Cavalier, picked it up just at the end of his lap 23. So he will have 2 laps left to serve that. Another trip into pits, definitely not what you need in this format of race. Van Ommen in a league of his own at the moment. Is Glaren and Cairns that are battling out for the final podium position. Then Eamon Tully into the pits, leader of the silver class. Kudasov. Let's see how close Kudasov can get. He's just coming off the mid. Oh, he's probably halfway along the Mistral Straight, so he's got about another 4 hours till he gets to the end, such as the length of that straight. But definitely for me, what could have been for Kudasov? The sim racing gods have certainly smiled upon him, with Jas Tuschak being cruelly ejected from the server there. But the Audi driver really has been working those tyres. it is safe to say. And yeah, Eamon Tully comfortably back out and in the lead. Kudasov at the moment only just making his way through sector number 3, so a massive gap then for Tully, but still with the incidents and sideways motion that Kudasov has had this race, if he'd removed those, the battle for the lead of this race would be an entirely different story at the moment. But as it is, Eamon Tully comfortably leading the silvers and looking to bring home a very solid race win in the silvers. In the pros, it is very much still the Van Orman show. His previous lap, 1 minute 54.7. So again, well within a second of his own fastest lap of the race, 54.0. Not many drivers getting into the low 54s. Matt Lee, the only driver reasonably close to him with a 154.192. The rest of the field at least 7 to 9 tenths slower than these two over their fastest lap. There is O'Brien coming into the pits. We've got a drive-through being cleared. Jas Tuschak. Wow. Disconnected from the server. Had to wait for an extra 2 minutes when he reconnected to the server. Now he's been given a drive-through for track limit violations. This is a tough lesson for Volodymyr Tuschak this evening. But what doesn't kill you will make you stronger. And I'm sure this will make a better driver out of him. Yeah, it's going to be a tough close. 8 minutes left to go and another trip into the pits for Jas Tuschak. Another driver like Kudasov. Oh, what could have been. Glerum and Cairns. At the moment, the final battle that we're seeing on track, the Corkery and Power coming into the pits could shake things up there a bit. As we've got Van Orman still out on track. He has been past the pits once again. So no 40-minute tyre life in the Aston Martin, that is for sure. His last lap 54.7, so that's back-to-back laps, 1 minute 54.7. Consistency, consistency, consistency. Unbelievable. That is how you win races. Patience and consistency. Never. Oh, we got really close there on the brakes. That was. Yep. I know that seemed like a bit of on the way on the. Oh, hold your brakes. On the way into the corner, that didn't look like much, but as a Ferrari driver, I know going into turn 1 and 2 like that, that is not the way to keep the car settled on exit, and that's exactly what we saw there. Biles dropping positions to Simon, and Pavlik in the background could be looking to take a position as well if Biles can't get that car under control in the closing stages, and it is now definitely the closing stages with 7 minutes left to go. Just in the background there, that is not Nigel O'Brien. Oh, that is Jake Rose, who is, yeah, he's slightly out of position because of penalties. There's Glerum just blue flagging his way through. Ferrand back into the pits. So we do have the 23 drivers back out on track to finish the race. Jas Tuschak got to be absolutely devastated after the drive. He's playing some very good laps as well. 56.3, his quickest lap of the race, which is more than competitive with the rest of the silver field. Eamon Tully winning in the silvers at the moment, and he is pretty much the quickest silver driver out there with a 1 minute 55.8 safely tucked under his belt. In fact, the only silver driver to get himself into the 55s. So yeah, great drive by Eamon Tully. Let's keep an eye on Glerum. In fact, we should probably keep an eye on Van Orman as well. Where is he? Oh, and we've got a car off track. Coleman Corkery into the pits. Oh, and it was Rose with another slight off-track excursion then. His car looking a bit worse for wear then. It is a fair distance to hit any walls at this track, so coming in contact with another car. He's definitely off-track momentarily there, at least. Coleman Corkery. Very quick pit stop from Coleman, in and straight back out again. This Ferrant in the background still in the pits. Cairns is through, so too is Stell. Matt Lee is through as well. O'Brien isn't going to catch back up. So it's all down to Dean Power then, coming in to take his pit stop. Coleman Corkery, yeah, there we go, that's confirmation that he is behind Fell. No, he's not, yes, he is. There we go. Confirmation that that's finally caught there. Yep, there is Fell. And there's Van Ommen in to take his pit stop, only 49 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. Yeah, we should maybe send Jan Willem Van Ommen for the test as well. Who was it that was away getting tested and couldn't race this evening? Could you take Van Ommen with you too, please? And we'll just get him tested to see what colour his blood is. Make sure it is actually human. 49 seconds over the rest of the field. He comes into the pits. Only Dean Power left to take his pit stop. Unbelievably quick on track. Van Ommen already moving. His pit stop done and dusted. So he won't lose the lead of the race to any other drivers. 3 minutes 45 left to go. Power stays out, so he's going to have to come in at the end of this lap to get his mandatory done. Really stretching the life of those tyres. And there it is, Van Ommen, and it's going to be a battle royale between these two for the final two podium positions in the closing stages. It is Cairns and Galera, then the two Ferraris. Still inseparable. We did have Jonathan Fell keeping them company. He's dropped off ever so slightly. These two, of course, were battling for third place. It's now second and third after Matt Lee sent himself off into the side track, turn number one before he took his pit stop. Ricard really using those curves. It's just slightly jittery. Hopefully that is going through okay for yourselves. Oh, look at the slipstream advantage he's got along Mithral Straight then. Glare right round at the outside of this one. Is he going to make it stick? Oh, he's really gone wide. He's made sure he's left enough room on the inside. Has Cairns, a potential cutback from Glare. Both drivers struggling to get the car back onto the driving line. Glare up the inside, round the outside line is Cairns. He's going to have the better acceleration on the exit. As you can see, he's just got the nose in front. He's on the inside here, but he's on the outside of the next corner. Going for the cutback then, does Glare. Brave move in there, or potentially just trying to back out to not, or trying to avoid contact in a side-by-side situation through a very technically tricky corner. Back to chasing though is Power into the pit, as we can see. There's Cairns and Glare around at the last corner. So they will take that position back, second and third. There is Fell. Oh, and well, this has all been going on. Matt Lee, who'd closed up 3 seconds the last time we looked, he is all over the back of Fell now. Dean Power just being violently dropped there. His car absolutely bouncing off the tarmac. Drive through for track limits. Oh, Jake Rose. Another trip into the pits for Jake then. Another driver who'll be quickly looking to put this race in the rear view mirror and get on to next week's event, which is the 2 30-minute races at Bathurst. Matt Lee having a good look there. Big bit of contact between the two. Matt instantly lifting to make sure he didn't gain an advantage there. Gave Fell that position straight back again. Glareham and Cairns still going out. Roguski's got that 5-second penalty. That will be added at the end. Look at the slipstream advantage once again this time. Cairns looking to try and move over to the left-hand side to get as much of the corner as he can, but it is Glareham who's got it in front. Oh, and there's almost contact through the middle phase of the corner, over that curb in. But it is Glareham who's managed to keep that one together. He's finally gotten himself up into second, and there is confirmation. The leader is on the final lap. 31. I think it's safe to say pretty perfect laps so far. His last lap there, 154.5, so only half a second off his own fastest lap of the race. It's been an absolutely flawless performance by Van Ommen. He was handed the race win last time out, and this time it's been all down to his own hard work and effort. Took pole position by an impressive 0.8 of a second, and he's now given himself about a minute lead, 2 seconds a lap. He has managed to carve out over the rest of the field on average. Given the size of the gap that he's got, that drive through for Rose, he's going to pick up a penalty on the last lap if he doesn't come in to take that drive through. Glareham still defending from Van Ommen then, from Cairns then. Cairns now the driver doing the chasing, doesn't have long left to get that overtake done. That is sector number 3 there. Let's see what Cairns and Glareham. Oh, and that gap's a lot bigger than he would have been hoping for. Pavlik and Biles looking very close. Oh, Pavlik on the other side. And that is a big cutback manoeuvre. Kudasov losing grip once again in the Audi. That Audi really not happy on this setup. Oh, and Biles comes back over, and that is Pavlik into the wall. He's going to lose a couple of positions there. As we can see, Van Ommen then making his way around the last corner. He's led all bar 3 corners over this race. Jan Willem Van Ommen, 2 races, 2 wins. He will be proudly atop of the table ahead of the 2 races at Bathurst on the 16th. Not long to wait for that. Glareham and Cairns are going to battle out right to the very end. Matt is going to get himself a 4th. Paul Simon has crossed the line, so too Kudasov and Biles. Big send here from Evan Cairns, absolutely trying everything. Glareham saw that one coming a mile away, and he just had to get himself out of the way and retake that position. Glareham takes the checker flag for second, Cairns in 3rd place, and it is going to be Eamon Tully. A bit of sideways action there, but Paul Simon just confirmation there. He's already taken the checker flag. He's got second. Kudasov did hang on to 3rd. Biles was saw sideways there. In 4th position, but it will be Eamon Tully in the Wiz Motorsports Porsche, bringing this one home for a very solid race win, and that is going to do him wonders in the stand-ins, given that Yaztushek and Kudasov finishing firmly behind him. There's Eamon Tully crossing the line to take that checkered flag. Phenomenal drive by everyone. I'll tell you what, let's just very quickly grab this and this. And we'll bring up the race results. There is confirmation of the silvers, although we know that Matt Lee has been promoted. A phenomenal drive from Matt up in the pros. So it's Tully, Simon and Kudasov on the silver podium. Ian Paskin, good race, great to see him again. Back to databases now. Oh, Ian, I feel your pain, my man. Let's quickly run through this before it disappears. So it is Tully with the win, Simon, Kudasov, Biles, Minton, Pavlik, Roguski and Taylor. Second, first through to 9th. He has Tuschak in 10th, McGuckin and Ferrant 10th and 11th. It is Van Ommen who takes home the race win. Glareham with 2nd place, only 4/10 ahead of Evan Cairns. What a race between those two. Matt Lee finishing in 4th, fell in 5th. Corkery in 6th position. Power in 7th. O'Brien in 8th. Mielchin is going to get 9th in the pros, with Gallimini finishing in 10th place. In 11th it was Jake Rose, and in 12th Vittoria Cava. Far too many trips into the pits there, it has to be said. But what another race night that was. Oh yes, Tushak, it turns out he's had. That was actually an internet issue, so his ISP gave up on him. And he had to rejoin. Absolutely devastating there, because he was on for a podium. Absolutely. He was on for a podium there. No denying that one. Now. Yeah, so there we go, round number 2 in the bag. Great action. Hey Raf, thank you very much. Cheers, bud. Again, very easy to commentate these races. The racing action is absolutely incredible. All the fun of the fair. Make sure you go back and give this a watch. Thank you to everyone that's given a follow this evening. Fabio Genio with a follow. Who do I also have? With QR21, PHC Clark, who let his 1-year-old do some typing for him as well. Get them early, get them hooked early. That's the way to do it. I like it, I like it. But thank you to Raf and the gang for organising another phenomenal event. And Track Titan, and of course Formula Setups as well, for their continued sponsorship. Next time out, May the 16th, it is 2 30-minute races from Bathurst. That's right, the mountain. Cannot wait for that one. That will be, as I say, May the 16th, next Tuesday evening. It really has been a long week, I do apologise. Yeah, next Tuesday night. We'll be back for more action. So until then, I'm going to go and watch that replay back, actually. So make sure you watch the VOD back on Twitch, because that was another worldie. And I will see you all again, same time, same place next week. So until then, stay safe, take it easy, and have a great rest of your evening. Good night.